What's going on, y'all? Minutes with Mellon. So we take a long video, make it shorter. You know, the things we do. But, so, I didn't realize how dumb the Trump trial was. Like, one, they won't tell him what his charges are, which is insane. He's an ex-fucking president. He shouldn't even be in fucking court. But, two, they won't tell him what his charges are. They're trying to say, you got to hear him say it. It's crazy. But before I play the Trump thing, Nanci Pelosi got fucking smoked on a debate stage, dude. It's hilarious. And this all stems from what Eisenhower tried to warn us a long time ago. So I want to remind everybody what this all stems from. The military-industrial complex. I swear on everything. This all comes because Trump didn't start any wars. That's what it's all about.
His final speech. Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States.
Good evening, my fellow Americans. First, I should like to express my gratitude to the radio and television networks for the opportunities they have given me over the years to bring reports.
You just got to hear this part.
I come to you with a message of leave-taking and farewell.
This speech did not get very much attention. When a new president is coming to power, as John Kennedy was, the spotlight was not on Dwight Eisenhower.
We have been compelled to create a permanent armaments industry of vast proportions.
There was a feeling at the time that this must have been written by some speechwriter who just sneaked into the speech.
In the councils of government, we must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex.
3 months ago, we got contacted by a Falcon Moose. He was responsible in part for
written evidence that this was not just some caprice of Eisenhower's or something by some speechwriter.
You see the evolution of his speech from May 1959 to 1961.
And he wanted to give this speech for a long time, 2 years.
Our military organization today bears little relation to that known of any of my predecessors in peacetime, or indeed by the fighting men of World War II or Korea.
There was one.
So they basically go on to talk about the history of the speech, but yeah, that's when JFK was taking office and Eisenhower was getting kicked out. So Pelosi says a bunch of dumb shit. And then,
well, you can't let that happen because for us, this election is Washington crossing the Delaware.
There's only one appropriate reaction, and of course that reaction is in the form of a video meme.
What you've just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
That is the only reaction. That was Presidential Medal of Freedom recipient Nanci Pelosi. That was high IQ genius politician Nanci Pelosi. That was some of the most incoherent nonsense I've ever been subjected to. Blah, blah, blah. All it was a bunch of word salad nonsense, then ma democracy, preserving our democracy, threat to our democracy, word salad, pop.
Big tech to have Trump suspended off Twitter. Yes, the same platform which hosted the Taliban and Ayatollah deaf to Israel Khomeini, they thought the president crossed the line when he tweeted on Jan 6th, quote, "Remain peaceful, no violence, respect the law and our great men and women in blue." That's a quote. You may.
this guy goes on to give an awesome speech. I'll list it below, but I just wanted you to hear that section because it's fucking ridiculous what they're doing. So here he explains pretty much why they're even on trial, and I heard this and I'm like, what the fuck?
For what the crime is being alleged, prosecutors have not explained why denoting this as a legal expense was wrong. So they say that the bookkeeping error I paid a lawyer a certain amount of money. We marked it down as legal expenses. So I had a legal expense, and I marked it down as a legal expense. I didn't mark it down as construction of a wall, construction of a building. I didn't mark it down as electricity costs. I took a legal expense, and they called it, I didn't do it, a bookkeeper did it. You did it exactly right. Took a legal expense and called it a legal expense. This is their whole case. Are you allowed to call a legal expense a legal expense? I don't know what else you call it, actually. But he brings it up here, the legal expense. It was, what's the problem? I never thought that as an attorney I could see a system like New York's, one of the most sophisticated legal bars in the world, really debase itself so badly. This judge should not be allowed in the case, and we should not allow this case to go forward. Mershon should rule in favor of a directed verdict immediately. There is an insufficient amount of evidence. No crime has been shown. No crime's been committed. There's been no crime. Judge Janine Pirro, she talks here. She's very excited here. He's a fool. He's not an experienced judge. So I'll make that one a little short. I don't want to insult anybody. Greg.
So yeah, he goes on to list off a bunch of other, lawyers and judges just talking about how this case is a complete farce. And it's just literally a mockery to the system. It's 100% election interference. That's all it is, election interference. Why not try it 7 years ago when you had a chance? But now all of a sudden, they're kicking other people out who are in line just so they could try it. It's all about timing, and we've all been saying that for years now. It's all about the timing. But I wanted you. This is the last bit, is what Vivek says, and he just fucking nails it. He burrows in, boy. He burrows deep. So yeah, we'll just hear what Vivek has.
This is a sham, and that is the only thing this is. Michael Cohen has no credibility, no integrity, and this is weaponization against our president.
Thank you. I want to thank my colleagues, Governor Burgum, Congressman Mills, and Congressman Donalds, for laying out the political backdrop here. This is a politicized persecution that is nakedly apparent. What I want to do is dive a little bit deeper into what we actually learned today in that courtroom. What do we see in there? First of all, I learned a lot from being in there in person. It is one of the most depressing places I have been in my life, but it is fitting because the only thing more depressing than the environment of that courtroom is what's actually happening in there. It's straight out of a Kafka novel. The prosecution's main strategy appears to be to bore the jurors into submission. And if you look in that direction, sadly, it may appear to actually be working. Now, I would like for anybody here in the press, anybody at home, anybody in MSNBC or the media afterwards, to clearly state what exactly is the crime that Donald Trump committed. Oh, wait. We have not heard a good answer to that question. It has been...
That's insane, and that's what Trump was saying. Like, he listed a legal expense as a legal expense. And that's what you're going after the president for? Like, are you fucking kidding me? Oh, all the while, there's another clip, but it shows Bragg, it shows Cash G Money, Fannie Willis, and then the other one, Letitia James. They all met up at the White House, all before all this shit happened. So they all had a fucking game plan, like, this whole time, obviously.
Vague until today. You heard Michael Cohen's testimony, after which I would say it is less clear than ever what that crime actually was. They'll say falsifying business records. Well, let's look at, who did we learn falsified business records today? Get, what, hour, 2 hours, felt like it could have been 7 hours, of Michael Cohen talking about how he falsified business records. Okay, so you have a guy who has been a perjurer in the past that is now saying he falsified business records. What is the crime that Donald Trump committed? Now, it appears to be what they might allege is some sort of bookkeeping error or whatever. The real bookkeeping that we need accounting of is Judge Merchan's own family member collecting millions of dollars as a Democratic operative, using the existence of this trial as a fundraising ploy for Democrats. This is unconscionable. Imagine if the same shoe fit the other foot.
Yeah, I mean, look, the judge's daughter is raising money off of this. Like, the judge, he needs to remove, at that point, you're compromised because you are not getting a fair trial. Your own family member is making money off the trial by saying, donate to me, donate to me. Like, this is the most corrupt fucking trial ever. He should have recused himself a long time ago.
Imagine if it was Joe Biden that was on trial. You had a Republican judge whose son was collecting millions of dollars as a Republican operative. What would you all be saying? This would not be justice. This is injustice at its worst. So let's go even a layer deeper, right? Because let's go even a layer deeper, actually.
Burrow.
The alleged crime here is supposedly, they try to point to this every day, that he does not actually use campaign funds, that he used personal funds. Well, let's get this straight. Suppose Donald Trump had used campaign funds to make a personal expense. They'd be going after him for that. So if they're going to get him going or they're going to get him coming, that is the best proof that this is a politicized sham. Let's go through it piece by piece. If you tell somebody to go buy you a suit and you want to look good on television because that'll affect the voters, the way voters vote for you, you know what? They prosecute politicians if they use campaign funds to buy a suit. Campaign funds to get a haircut because you want to look good to the voters, they will actually prosecute you for using campaign funds for a personal expense. Yet the entire legal theory of this case, the whole case that Alvin Bragg has brought, depends on one premise for them to charge this as a felony, is that Donald Trump somehow should have used campaign funds to make an allegedly personal payment. Yet if he had done that, their case against him would be even stronger. This is garbage. That is the best proof that you have that if they're going to get him going or get him coming, it's damned if you do, damned if you don't. This is a sham. This is not the United States of America. This is some third-rate banana republic. If this were happening in another country, we would be laughing at them as a sham democracy. I am ashamed as an American citizen to sit here in a courtroom watching the former leader of the free world, and let's be honest, likely next leader of the free world, sitting with the indignity in this dingy third-rate courtroom with fourth-rate prosecutors and a fifth-rate lawyer on the stand as a witness who actually is violating attorney-client privilege left and right. Nobody's even talking about that. So this is a shame. Shame on this period in our country's history, but we will get through it and be stronger because you know who ultimately
Yeah, Michael Cohen's on the stand. Him and Trump have attorney-client privileges, yet Cohen is just saying whatever the fuck he wants. Like, what happened to attorney-client privileges? Like, it's so fucked up. This is the most fucked up case ever. And the NDA that was signed, that all went to shit. It's crazy.
Actually cast the vote on this case. It's not just the jurors in that jury box. It's every one of you at home. It's every American who votes this November to say no to the weaponization of justice. And if you're at home, you may say, you know what, I don't agree with everything Donald Trump's ever said. You know what, I may not agree with some of his policies even though they were great policies for 4 years. But you do agree, whether you are Democrat or Republican or black or white or gay or straight or man or woman, that our justice system should be blind to politics. That regardless of whether your last name is Biden or Trump, regardless of whether you've been a politician or not, you get a fair shake in our own legal system. And when you have a prosecutor who campaigned on the pledge of going after Trump and then keeps his campaign pledge, when you have a judge whose kids are collecting money from Democratic operatives by fundraising off the very trial that that judge is presiding over, and then telling the U.S. president that he's subject to a gag order, that he can't talk about it, that is not justice. That is a bastardization of what this country was founded on. And I'm here, and all of us are here as friends of Donald Trump, supporting him in our personal capacity, sharing our opinions. That's why we're here today. But I hope every American at home who isn't able to be in that courtroom is able to see what's actually happening there. And when you do, we will have a landslide of historic proportion this November if every American understands the injustice that's playing out in that courtroom today. So may God bless our country. I pray for our future, and let's pray for our country being stronger on the other side of this disgusting sham prosecution. Doug, I'll close this out. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Vivek. Thank you, Congressman.
Because he just fucking killed it. Like, he fucking killed it, man. Like, he really did. But like I said, this goes back a long ways. This is what happens when you fuck with the military-industrial complex. I'm telling you. And that's basically what Trump did. They don't want him back in office because He can't make money off wars. He's peace. He's peaceful. He doesn't want war. He wants to make money. He wants to put money in everybody's fucking pocket. Gas prices were $1.99. They're even lower than that. And where I'm from, like, shit was fucking crazy. I got, with my Speedway rewards, shit, I was getting gas for like $1.12 or some shit a gallon. Like, I've never seen that before since I was like 6. But yeah, I just thought I'd share that. That's what's going on. Just, burrowing right in, buddy.